This is a Founding Media podcast.
Yo, Badass Brigade. Alli Waddell here for Balanced Badassery. Today, we're going to talk about one of the pillars of wellness, which is my favorite pillar. That is movement. And I have my boy, Christian Plascencia. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was the hardest part of the whole podcast. On to talk about all things movement, how to live so you feel like a athlete inside, even if you're not an athlete in the real world, and how to not fuck up your body so that you can do it for a long, long time, because you only get one meat suit, so you better take care of it.
I like it.
Christian, why don't you introduce yourself to the Badass Brigade?
Yes. First of all, thank you for having me, Alli. So you basically put it out there. My name is Christian Plascencia, originally from Salinas, California, which is like Central Coast. Did my undergrad out in like Southern California-ish area, like Ventura County. Thought I was going to do physical therapy. I thought I was going to become a physical therapist since I was like the age of 12, which is really, really funny.
That's interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. I have an interesting mom. I have a mom that pushed me to extreme limits. But yeah, that was just something I just figured I wanted to do for like my whole life. And then I got to a senior in college and realized I met John Wolfe.
Oh.
Yeah,
and
wolf.
Then everybody's life changes after they meet John Wolfe.
Exactly.
You go down the weird wolf rabbit hole and shit is never the same.
It's never the same. It hasn't been the same since I met him. No, but that was a huge turning point, and I wanted to go more of like the strength conditioning trainer route. I applied to grad school. I got into school at East Tennessee State, and I also got into the University of Texas at Austin. And so I decided I think Austin, Texas would be a better choice than, no offense to anyone if they're from Johnsonville City, Tennessee, I believe is what it's called. Something like that. But yeah, it was a little bit, Austin was a tad bit better. And so I decided to come out here. And while that was also happening, John had given me like an internship position. Something that was just kind of, I didn't know what Onnit was. I didn't know what the Onnit Academy was.
Nobody really did at that point.
No, it was like, 2015-ish when I came out here. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so I've been working at Onnit for like the last 3.5 years. I've had the pleasure of working alongside, a lot of great people, a lot of great teachers, mentors, even just like the new batch of Onnit trainers that are now coming in, like Natalie, like Joshua, just an amazing team to be around. I've also had just the opportunity to work with even people that we bring in, right? Mm-hmm. Like Mike Fitch, like F.S.T and Dr. Andrea Ospina, Dr. Mark Chang, just the list goes on, you know what I mean? So yeah, basically been out in Austin for like the last 3.5 years and trying to just get a motherfucking scholarship, basically pretty softly.
That's awesome. So what is regarding movement, what's your kind of general philosophy when it comes to kind of talking to people about movement, incorporating more movement, kind of training for life in general? Yeah,
definitely. Well, I feel like a lot of times, whenever I would go into the gym and work out and just fitness for myself, again, before I met John Wolfe, a lot of it was like a lot of let's get bigger, let's get stronger, let's get faster, which is all awesome and it's still needed. But John really exposed me to taking a different perspective towards like movement and towards like fitness in general, right? And kind of seeing like how well do you move in a different capacity, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like we all know how to do a squat, we all know how to do a press, pull, whatever, but when given a different perspective, when given a different lens and having you do it in a different manner, tweaking little variables, it becomes a whole different monster. Your body adapts very specifically, right, to like the demands you place on it. And so being able to move with a little bit more of an intention behind, like, let's see, what's a good layman's term to kind of use would be to move with more efficiency. Your body was made to move a specific way, and so if you're able to basically unlock the potential of that, you're able to move more efficiently. If not, right, we all have competition, we all have little things going on in our body, and when we're not, I guess, attuned to those things, right, and not mindful of those things, then they will continue to kind of pack on and pack on each other, and that's when weird injuries or weird things happen in our bodies that don't end up feeling too well.
Yeah, you kind of develop these chronic ways of just living your kind of daily function. And that's one thing that I love that you say is like, pay attention to the small things that you're doing every day that are feeling uncomfortable and like start to unpack those, because so many people, he's still a very young man, but he's also an athlete. And so we're always kind of dealing with most of us are always, especially if you push yourself athletically, there's always a little something somewhere that's like not feeling 100%. And then as you get older, those things kind of become larger and kind of in your face a little more. And I really think that's a way of your body communicating to you. Like, are you paying attention? Are you really taking care?
Yeah.
And so I like that you have this kind of mindful philosophy when it comes to movement. And we were discussing when we started is that so many people, you kind of become an adult and you're like, you work out because, you know, there's a thing that says you have to work out, which you should. Everybody should be moving their body. I mean, if you're not and you're sitting most of the time, there's all kinds of other stuff.
Yeah.
But they're not really taking a mindful approach. You know, some people are training for something. So you'll have, you know, whatever, marathoners or they're triathletes or they're, you know, they still play tennis or whatever. But then a lot of people just go to the gym because they think they're supposed to go to the gym. So how do you start to talk to kind of normal people that come in and start working with you about like, how do you get to a why? How do you kind of understand and try to help people like think more thoroughly about their kind of fitness and wellness routines?
Well, I think, you know, the biggest part or the biggest, I guess, roadblock, right, with people coming into a general population gym is the mindset is like, again, let me sweat more, let me burn more so I can go and eat more and drink more, right? I mean, that's kind of, for the most part, that's a big generalization. But
but
for
it
the
is.
most part, right? And that's fine. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But knowing that people have that mindset going into the gym, also knowing that we are very competitive, right, at heart. So, you know, you say, oh, well, what's this intentional, like, movement? Like, what do you mean by that? And it's like, well, we're going to challenge you to move. So like a lunge, like a squat, like a press, like a pull. We're going to challenge you in all these ways that your body is going to be set to a different starting position and it's going to make you work in a different position, something that you're not used to. So then you're going to have like that inner kind of, I guess, like back and forth with yourself, kind of just around like, why does this suck? I've done a push-up before. You know, I've done loaded walks. I've done a lunge before. Why does this lunge suck? And why can't I hold it for 10 seconds? You know what I mean? And so that's kind of like the tricky way of a trainer, right? To kind of get you, especially like at Onnit, where I work at, and we have tons of other trainers who understand like this little like play on it, but the psychology of it is we're all kind of looking for like some type of challenge, right? Like you had kind of mentioned, people are still going into the gym maybe as a follow-up because they were once an athlete, right? And played a sport, maybe in college, maybe not. But we have like this inner desire to want to compete and want to win, right, and succeed. And so it's like, yeah, let's put the perspective a little bit differently. Let me make you look at it, this exercise from this point of view, and then let me make you work there. You're not gonna like it. I know you're probably not going to be as successful as you would like, so you're going to keep going at it with your best, and you know, with each rep. And next thing you know, after a 45-minute class, maybe on paper it wouldn't have looked like a great workout, you know, like a killer workout. But that's the simplicity of it.
I shit you not. That is what happens every time.
Yeah.
It's like you look at it on the board, you're like, that doesn't seem that bad. And then you're like halfway there, you're like, why does this suck? So bad. And being an athlete and then finally finding a facility where I feel like I've never been a class person because as an athlete and a trainer, you're like, I don't need to go to a class. It's the only place in Austin that I go to classes because I'm like, oh, well, legitimately everybody is going to like... I'm not going to hurt myself unless I'm being a moron, which sometimes I am. Thank you, Juan, for your barbell class. And those damn people that I have to compete with. And then, but everybody's real smart and mindful. And so that's the other part that you really bring in is that you really work on the warm up and the decompression part. And I think that slowly, I do think that recovery is going to be this next wave of wellness that we're seeing. You know, we're seeing infrared sauna places pop up. We're seeing, you know, the ice cold tubs come into, and yes, I understand I'm in a bubble and people think it's weird that I have an ice tub in the back of my house, but shit is legit.
I love that.
So talk to people about what is this kind of wave of like recovery that people are starting to hear about, and why is that so important to really start to incorporate? And how would somebody do that if they're just kind of normal, everyday people?
Totally. Well, I think it's making a big splash. Just I think a little bit of it, right? Like the cryo is awesome. The sauna is awesome. The dry needling, all the stuff that you can do, everything from passive to active, right? Like there's some fascia stretch therapy with Tim
Oh
McCann.
yeah.
Yeah, I had to plug them in. They're awesome. But like there's all these modalities, and so like from a business perspective, you can kind of see, right?
Niche-y.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, isn't there a spot? Maybe I'm wrong, but it's called like Restore, where it's got like the cryo, it's got the sauna, it's got like the bubble bath, it's got like everything that you can possibly think of recovery wise, like the Normatec boots, like everything is there. So I think a little bit of it is business, but when I think, again, if you package it the right way, right, which in our classes, like you mentioned, we do the warm ups and we do the cool downs, like. If you're smart enough about it, you could really make like your everyday program like a recovery and a strength program, because it's a 2-part process, right? In order for us to get whatever your goals are, bigger, faster, stronger, leaner, whatever it is, you stimulate and then you adapt, right? And so that adapt portion, I think a lot of us kind of skip over it. I think we just stimulate, and next thing you know, there's no chance for a rebound, right? There's no chance to come back stronger because we're just knocking ourselves down every time. So I think maybe people realize like, hey, you know what? We were talking about before, like I could take an off day and not feel like I'm losing something. I'm not losing any ground. As a matter of fact, I'm probably allowing myself to recover, right, to a better capacity and allow myself to keep going. So if my warm-ups are thorough and I'm making sure each joint is moving how a joint should move, and then I go in and I work out, the amount of, I don't want to say negative forces, but the amount of negative compression and forces that you put like on your spine, your low back, your knees, things that may be aching you, like that's not there anymore, or not to the level that it used to be. And then you work out and you get done, and then instead of just getting in your car and leaving, like you take the time to not only, allow tissues to be a little bit more like lengthened, right? Because a lot of stuff we do is very compression. So like let's lengthen tissues. And then let's also start to incorporate the breath, which starts to bring down the whole autonomic nervous system, which then gets the muscles and everything else to kind of start to release a little bit more tension. And so there's like this effect that, boom, right there, there's recovery. You're allowing your body to adapt. So again, I think that's if you do it the right way, if you program it the right way, or look at it through the right lens and start to maybe realize your warm-ups and your cool downs are effective and serve this bigger purpose, I think people can start to realize that, hey, it's something I could do with what I'm already doing on a daily basis. Maybe I add 10 more minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And really, for most people, you don't really have to work out that long. It's not like you need to be lifting heavy for an hour. I mean,
yeah, totally.
If you are, you're probably, unless you're a bodybuilder and you're very specific, you're probably doing it wrong. I mean, you don't really need to be lifting that. Being that intense for that long. You're not getting any extra gains on it. And so one of the things that are so important about the warm-up is like that is by the time you get into your set, you're actually going to go first round. Like you're going to be actually able to function as opposed to take 3 rounds to get ready to go.
Like 30 minutes in to the gym.
Then you're like, I finally feel like I'm ready to go.
Exactly. Which a lot of us do. And I used to be the same way.
Oh, I did my whole life until like probably 2 years ago.
So we're all learning. We're all still learning.
Yeah. It's just this slow process.
Yeah.
What is some things that you've seen coming around in kind of the movement, physical side of the industry that you're getting really excited and interested in?
For the most part, I'm sorry, I want to make sure I understand this. So basically, what am I seeing like movement wise in the whole fitness industry? That's kind of. Well, I just think that there's. Again, I think the biggest thing in fitness is understanding like your perspective and understanding your context and understanding like your why. So with more people coming out like Francesca, right, Primal's girlfriend, or even just someone like Primal, right, who uses kettlebells and the way they move, like, you're allowing for, or like Leo Savage, right? Like Isak, like they're all different expressions of very similar principles and very similar like theories, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's cool to be able to see those different types of applications and then understanding the why behind each one of them, right? So like, why would I want to do something like Primal, you know, something that Primal does as opposed to another kettlebell guy, right? And so it's very, very cool to see like, again, we all have past experiences that we bring with us, right? I used to be a basketball player, Francesca, maybe soccer, I could be completely wrong.
That's what I think.
But like, you know what I mean? Like we all kind of come from like this different background. And so I think that what that allows us to do is have like a different lens and to apply similar principles, you know what I mean? And the end result is similar, but different and unique to each one of our own, you know what I mean? And specifically Austin, Texas, specifically like the Onnit Academy, the Onnit Gym, like it has been a hub for people like you, for people again like Tim and Kim, for people like myself, Natalie, John Wolf, Shane, like all these. I mean, there's a reason that like Mike Fitch wants to come down and hang out like his like week and a half
He's
vacation
so awesome.
over here. You know what I mean? Like there's just so much good vibes around this area and a lot of good things happening in the fitness industry. So I feel like that's awesome.
I think it's, and one of the things I love that you hit on, and I think it's so important for people to understand, is although there's so many different ways to be healthy and to be fit and to move well. And that's one of the things that I love about Onnit, but love what you just said is like, you can look at these different philosophies and they're all based on very functional, you know, research backs, ways to like take care of your body.
Yeah.
But they're all different.
Yeah.
And none of them are better than other ones. And none of them are like, you could do Animal Flow for 6 months and like be killing it and move like Mike Finch. It's like, who doesn't want to move like that guy?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And then go and do, you know, Primals, kettlebell stuff and get super, you know, and program that in a way where you, and I think people get stuck and be like, this is what I have. I've signed up for weightlifting and thus I have to lift weights for the rest of my life. And I'm like, is that even serving you anymore? Are you, do you like going to the gym? I mean, my other thing is like, if you don't like going to the gym, like maybe take some time off, go dance or go
bike,
do do pole dancing or whatever you want. But you know, finding that joy again, and that's one thing that Onnit really gave me is like, man, when you've been training for almost 20 years, like at some point you're like, dude, I just am bored.
Right.
You know, like you got to go change it up. And the way you change it up is having fun and like experimenting with different stuff.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
So what are some of the things that you think that kind of every person could implement in their life regarding movement that could really help them move and kind of get to know their bodies better?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think one big principle would be to slow down. Yeah. And that was one thing that I learned right off the bat. Like, I was just talking to Natalie about this the other day. Like, when I first started this, like, movement, mobility type of practice, I guess you want to call it, it was at John Wolf's old gym in Salinas, California. Right, it was right before I came out here to Texas. And I would spend, like, about an hour warming up. Now, granted, I don't spend an hour to warm up today, right? But I was going through like this process of like trying to create that connection with my body and my brain, right? And I realized like right off the bat, like my biggest tendency was wanting to move like quickly and fast and like wasn't taking the time to like breathe and move, you know, connecting the two right there. So I think that could be a really big thing already because it's a huge shift, right, for someone, let's just take like CJ, right? Yeah. Huge power lifter, strong strength guy, right? Could lift a lot of weight. To get him to like all the way shift and only do like Animal Flow would be a huge shift, right? So it's like baby steps. So how about, you know, so for hitting like that context, it's like, hey, let's maybe lessen the weight a little bit, but like let's move slower through things and like let's see if maybe we could feel a little bit more because there is no right or wrong, right? It's not like or are you feeling this exactly in your left hip at this junction? No, then you're not doing it right. No, it's like, hey, do you feel more through there? Do you feel more things moving? Do you feel more things engaging? And I think that would help people start that process, because you don't have to stop doing your kettlebells or your one thing that you're really attached to,
Yeah.
Another thing too, which I think, I do this every single day, is having like a little morning routine, right? And that morning routine can be, reading, walking, jogging, walking your dog, whatever it may be. But for me, it's, right away I hydrate, so drink a lot of water, and then I move.
How much water?
So now that I got this, I've been living in the house for last year in the suburban area. It tells me how many ounces of water that I get
in your
each cup. Yes.
Fancy.
So I have, each morning it'll be 35 ounces in that bullet cup. And sometimes I might go and fleck another quarter glass. But for the most part, like, that'll be the start. Drink at least half of that, and then I get on the ground and I start moving. And I'll move on the ground for probably 15 minutes, depending on, if it was a big lifting day, I might take like 20, 30, just kind of depending how I feel that day. But what I try to tell people is, like, you don't need like an hour practice, right? Like, doing it 5 minutes here, 2 minutes here, 2 minutes here, 2 minutes here, like, it all adds up, especially in the beginning. Any type of experience or conditioning to that is going to have like a great effect, a positive effect. So those would be probably like the two most simplest things that, people can kind of try to implement or try to change and see some type of like positive difference or a change.
Yeah, I think incorporating some kind of movement to your morning practice is huge. And really, for a lot of people, like walking, like just getting you outside and walking is really great. But you and Alli both have really great morning practice short videos of just like moving through your body, wrist circles, shoulder circles, doing some cat-cow.
Totally.
And it is amazing if you can just incorporate 5 minutes. I love that you say you can kind of break it up. Like for my clients that sit at desks all day, like you need to have a desk mobility routine. If you're going to be sitting there, set a timer and every 20, 30 minutes you're doing stretching your back, standing up, moving around, because that whole stagnant sitting thing. It's no bueno.
No bueno.
Supposedly sitting is the new smoking. So
I was just about to say the same thing. That's crazy.
So we're going to go into some rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. What is your favorite thing to eat?
Pizza.
Pizza. That's my favorite thing to eat, actually.
I don't even like cheese, and pizza's my favorite food.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like cheese.
What kind of pizza do you like?
Oh, I've become very fond of like a huge vegetarian pizza, but just add some like prosciutto on it.
Lots of veggies,
lots of
meat
veggies
chunks.
with some meat chunks on that. Yeah, we're not vegan over here, which is nothing wrong with that.
No, you can be vegan.
Yeah, you can be vegan, but like I need my meat still.
What kind of what pizza do you like in Austin?
Ooh, so I've only had it like twice. No, once. I think I've only had it once. Bufalina.
Bufalina.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, legit
magical
shit going down over there.
Via 313 gluten
It's
free.
pretty good too.
Their gluten free stuff is even really good.
There we go.
Yeah,
Shout out.
Those are probably my favorite two right there.
What is something that you believe that most people think you're crazy for thinking?
That the Lakers will win a championship every single year that we start a season. And I'm going to have to believe it, and I'm going to stand by it for the rest of my life.
You're just going.
Yeah, especially this year.
That's awesome. Okay, final question. Okay. What is one thing that you would tell your younger self, and you can tell me how old he is, and what's one thing that your 90-year-old self would tell you today?
Dang. So let's do the first one first. So you said, what would I tell my younger self? To be patient. Just be patient, and timing. I would say like timing is everything, right? Like when you know, you know. I know that's kind of very.
You wanted to hurry.
Well, no, I just feel like, and again, tying into the workout, moving really fast, having intensity to go fast, like. Again, the way I grew up at 12 years old, I thought I knew what I wanted to do. So it's like I'm always on like this path. I always feel like I'm on this like road to go somewhere and get somewhere. And I feel like I've tried to implement as much as I can to just be patient and let things happen when they're supposed to happen organically.
Trust the universe.
Yeah, exactly.
Not easy.
Not easy. I'm still working on it. I by no way perfected it and probably won't perfect it. So, but then what would I tell?
What advice would your 90-year-old self give you today?
Oof, man. Good thing you were patient, hopefully. Good thing you waited. I feel like it's probably going to have to be along those lines. And also there's just one thing, and it's not because my parents, it has nothing to do with saying my parents are bad. Like, I love my parents, and they're awesome, and I wouldn't change anything about them. But my dad brought up this quote to me the other day. It was, okay, hold on. I don't want to butcher this right here. But basically, it's your parents' fault for raising you the way they did. It's your fault for staying basically like the same.
Yeah.
I know I butchered that up completely, but ultimately, like, it's so super easy to be like, well, that was the way I was raised. That's what I've been used to. That's the norm for me. That's who I am. And so whoever around me is just going to have to change. But rather, I feel like there's some value in being able to be like, you know what, like, I know the ways I've been raised. I'm aware of I'm intentional about my actions, and I want to make sure that the ones that I decide to do are the promises I made to myself about making changes, that I'm actually making those changes and not just living in a passive lifestyle, I guess.
Yeah, taking personal responsibility.
Yeah.
100%
Exactly.
responsibility, because you're a adult ass man.
Exactly. Trying to be.
Everybody. Well, Christian, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you didn't get to say on the podcast that you would like to share?
I don't think so, man. Other than I love basketball, and the Lakers will probably win the championship this year, and that's really about it. Yeah, just I couldn't be happier, honestly, to be on here and be able to kind of spread the message of moving with intention.
Moving with intention.
Yeah.
Everybody can do it.
Boom. Love it.
Bye, guys.